Okay, Wales play England today in the second of their warm-up test matches before the World Cup in Japan. They're at home. I think this is advantage to Wales. I know that they had their winning streak ended by England at Twickenham last week. They were top of the world rankings for a brief 24-hour period until that defeat by England. Now, England and Wales both have the opportunity, whoever wins, to have an opportunity to get back on top of the world rankings pile. New Zealand have been wobbling of late. Now, for me, I think there are two key areas which are going to prove decisive today. It's going to be discipline is the main one. I think that's a big issue with England is discipline. Wales are far more disciplined as a team and as a squad and how they play, but also the fly half battle. And it's a different fly half battle today. It's George Ford in at fly half and as captain as well, and Dan Biggar in for Wales due to the injury to Gareth Anscombe. Reece Patchell will most likely be on the bench. George Ford, he is a capable fly half. He's a very good fly half, but at times his from hand kicking is poor, and defensively he is lightweight. He is one of the smallest players playing international rugby at this current time in a tier 1 nation. He is on the small side for a modern day fly half, and sometimes his kicking from hand is inaccurate. Dan Biggar, on the other hand, he's been brought back into the fold in recent years. There's more competitiveness now in the fly half position for Wales. Obviously Anscombe, that means they're going to have to change their game plan with Anscombe out, as I say. Dan Biggar is more of a structured fly half. Also in defence, very, very good under the high ball. He's basically like having a second fullback on the field in defence when there's the Gary Owens going up. He was instrumental in many games coming off the bench for Wales in the Six Nations. He added that bit of structure at times and a bit of calmness at times when heads were getting flustered and Wales were under pressure. Wales have to put in an 80-minute performance. That's where they're going to win this game if they can put a full 80-minute performance. In England, if they're going to win this game, they have to support George Ford at fly half, be it defensively or in attack. Give some other kicking options from hand. We've noticed that George Ford, sometimes, as I say, his kicking from hand is wayward, and defensively he's going to need some assistance in taking down some of his big Welsh ball runners because he is on the light side in defence. These are the two weaknesses to George Ford's game. Wales' weaknesses is that 80-minute performance. They won a lot of those games in a row without putting in that full 80-minute performance where they were scoring tries in both halves and they were, keeping the scoreboard ticking over. We noticed a lot of the time they couldn't score tries in both halves. It was either the first half or the second half. They need to get that 80-minute performance together, and they need to bounce back from last week. I don't think the coaches, their words and their press conferences necessarily breed for a very intense game today. Warren Gatton's saying it's like a pre-season club game. Eddie Jones, he's been very vague in some of his answers to questions as well, but I'm hoping for an intense game. There are players on this pitch that want to get on the plane to Japan next month. They've got to put their hand up and they've got to put performance in. You've got to be physical and intense from the first whistle. The Test rugby should not be considered a pre-season game. You should be going out there with 110% of aggression and intensity. It's going to be interesting. The battle's going to be in the fly half role. I think Wales are going to slightly edge this match because they are at home and they have Biggar at fly half. I think George Ford, I don't think his kicking from hand is good enough, and I don't think his defence is necessarily as good, let's say, as Owen Farrell, for example, in the fly half role, or even Danny Cipriani, for that matter. I think this could be an interesting game. I'm going for Wales to slightly edge it. I think England's discipline could be their undoing. Wales, they've got to put that 8-minute performance in though. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see how England are more dimensional in this game. They've got a different fly half. It's not Owen Farrell, it is George Ford. That could be that joker in the pack because we've got used to Owen Farrell running the show and actually sometimes being a bit two-dimensional, not three-dimensional. He can also fall into that trap of becoming a bit mechanical in his fly half role. This is an opportunity for George Ford to put a marker down as well in competition for that number 10 shirt for England. That could be interesting. He's back in the fold now. So there we go. There's a little preview. It's going to be an interesting match. It's not usual to see a test match in August. We don't normally see these test matches in August, but no summer tours this year because of the World Cup. Players have got to put their hand up and put a session in. We know both sides have had some injury concerns and players missing because of injury. And there's an opportunity for some of these fringe players to stake their place and put their hand up for a place on the plane to Japan. But I'm going with Wales as slight favourites for this game. Primarily the fly half battle, I think, is where it's going to be won. Discipline, putting that in performance, these are secondary things, but I think the fly half control of the game is where this game is going to be won and lost. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I'll do a full match review, obviously, after the match is finished. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Place your thoughts on today's game below, and I'll have some more videos for you very, very soon.